Hey guys, how you doing? Nathaniel here, and this is Just the Average Student. So, in the last video I said that my last video was going to be a two-part. So this is a second part to my first video on assessment day discussions. This is 5 things that you can do in an assessment day to do better. This video is really for people who are finding it are struggling to get through on assessment days to even get the interview. So if this sounds like you, carry on watching. Guys, remember to like, comment, and subscribe, joining on the discussion of the video. And if any of these tips are helpful, please report back. Tell people that they were, smash the like button, and let's get into the video. So before we get into the video, I really want to stress that these 5 things that you can do are very general, but they will help you over it doesn't matter what assessment day you do, whether it be an interview at the end or whether the interview is on a different day or whether you still have an interview but you have other interviews to go to on another day. These will help you, and because the interview is literally the interview is an interview. You have to have interviewing skills. These are for the assessment day and the group tasks. Okay, so these will help you get through to that initial stage. So guys, I'm going to go in from how the day starts to how the day ends. Number one is very simple. On every single assessment day, group interview, group task, group anything, there's always going to be a moment where the conductor is going to say to you, introduce yourself. This is very important. This can vary in different ways. It could be an elevator pitch. It could be, look it up if you don't know, but it's essentially you giving a quick, why you're so great and what skills you have. Just to sum it up, but go and watch another video for it. There are many on elevator pitches. I'll most likely make one a bit later. So you have the elevator pitch. You have some sort of introduction where you say something funny about yourself. Guys, it is very, very, very important that you do this before you go to the assessment day or the group task. Why? It is important. It's the very first thing that they see of you. Now, if you aren't doing well on that assessment day, it could be because your delivery of an introduction is not good. You need to be visible on this day. There could be 10 people, there could be 20, there could be over 50. You need to be visible from the get-go, right? You cannot afford to lose that opportunity to introduce yourself and be a person that they're looking out for. Please overstand this. Don't understand it, overstand it. Because if you do not do this, you have shot yourself in the foot straight away. Stories which are good, anything can be a good story. Anything can be good in the elevator pitch. If it's an elevator pitch, go out, practice. But in an introduction where you have to say something interesting about yourself or a funny fact or as well as your name and your qualification or whatnot, it is important that you have this scenario from the beginning. Because yeah, you can get lucky and you can say something and maybe you just had a really, really, really interesting life. Where you can just think of a story that happened to you last week. But for a lot of people, you need to think of a moment in time where something happened to you which was interesting. And everyone has it. If you don't have something like that, then you've been living under a rock your whole life, or you've just been inside. That would be kind of uncomfortable. So you've just been inside the house your whole life, just chilling. That's impossible. You've gone to school, you've gone to college, you've gone to university. There's been something interesting that has happened to you. Say it, okay? There was to name off some examples. Someone used something so simplistic as they dropped off the couch and broke their arm. Such a simple story, but it actually allowed someone else in the group to say, I dropped off and broke my leg. And they laughed it up, something memorable. And someone had skydived, someone had gone rock climbing, and someone had gone and done backpacking for about a week or so. People who sing, people who rap, you know where I'm going with this. Like something that you can say that will have people in the audience like, ooh, that's pretty interesting. Even if there was one particular person, even if it's within education, who actually did say that his dissertation got deleted 5 days before handing, and he managed to write out the whole thing and give it in and get a first. All right, within those 5 days, he managed to rewrite it, get it in, and he got a clap from every single person in the room because they knew how hard it was. Revise that point to a T. Make sure that you understand how important introducing yourself is. Now, number 2, 3, and 4, they are for group tasks. Number 2, be the captain. Being the captain is so underestimated, right? It's also, but yet still, it's so overstated. It's just one of those weird things. Someone will say, be the captain. And when you're in a group, they'll say, who wants to be the captain? And then people will be like, oh, I don't know, I guess I will be the captain. There's always that one guy, right? Or they'll be like, everyone in the group will be like, or people will not even pick a captain and just carry on with the task, okay? In a group, be the captain. Being the captain is very, very, very key to actually being included in the group. Remember, guys, it's all about being visible. Be invisible. You do not want to be a shadow on this day. Be invisible. Whoa. Be visible. Being visible is so important, and being a captain allows you to be visible. The captain is going to be there, is most likely going to be the person talking, is most likely going to be the person taking charge, right? The captain. Be the captain. Now, if you don't have the cojones to be the captain, or you don't feel comfortable in being the captain, not everyone does. You don't have to feel extremely comfortable with being the captain. If you don't feel comfortable with being the captain, go on to number 3. So number 3 is be the writer. Being the writer is probably one of the most underrated and understated comments. Well, apart from number 4, but being the writer is so key. Being the writer can be so key in a group task, and it is slightly a bit more key. You become slightly the focal point when it comes to a group task, because you're the one who's writing. You're the one who is making sure that all salient information is written down. If you are the writer, essentially you are kind of dictating what is and isn't a good idea. It's really funny. You'll have so many people talking to you, and this has happened to me before. This is why I was like, whoa, I should just be the writer. This has happened to me before, where you're talking, someone will be like, so the writer will look at you and go, then someone else will say a good point. And then the writer will be like, and then someone else will say something, and he'll be like, no, do you know what? I like your point. I like that point. I'm going to write it down. Fuck the 2 people who actually just said like their ideas. The writer is the person who gets to decide what's on the paper, unless the whole group says, look man, put that definitely on the paper, make sure that's on the paper. But the writer in the most sense is the person who is communicating with the whole group. The reason why you want to be the writer is just because of it's. If someone walks into a room, remember you are getting assessed. This is an assessment day. You are the person writing. As a writer, you are engaging every single person who is talking. They are talking directly to you, right? You also have an opportunity to ask that person questions to clarify their point. It puts you in a position where people are naturally going to be either talking up to you, or they're going to be talking to you they're going to be talking to you to clarify points, or they're going to be talking to you to make sure that what they're saying is worthy enough to be written down, right? Subconsciously. Someone within a group task, right? If you are not the loudest, if you are not the most boisterous, the writer will be a focal point. They may be quiet, they may be a bit quieter, but they are there doing their job. The fact that you actually picked up a job is something that an assessor will see and be like, that's a plus. Plus, that person as a writer will be putting in so much work within the group task. They'll probably be talking to every single person in the group. So, moving on to number 4. Number 4 is keeping the time. Look, keeping the time is very important. It shows that you have good organizational skills, and you're also able to lead the group. When you're given a task, they'll say you have 10 minutes. The person who is keeping the time will look at their watch and then come back and say, yo, guys, we have 10 minutes, let's go. So every two minute and a half intervals, let's say, you will be saying, guys, we've got 7.5 minutes. Guys, we've got 5 minutes. Guys, we've got 2.5 minutes. Guys, we've got 2 minutes. Guys, we've got 1.5 minutes. Guys, we've got 1 minute. We got 30 seconds. Like, let's wrap this up. As the person who is keeping the time, you will be pushing the group forward. You will be showing that you are a focal part of the group, keeping the group organized, keeping the group on task. Many times in group exercises, people can just go off on one and start talking about things that are totally irrelevant, like totally irrelevant to the scenario, and or they stick on a particular point. So the point of the task was to find something, but you have to have a discussion before you find that out, and it's obviously based on everyone's opinion, how everyone's working it out. Now that will be done. And right at the end, you really need to finish the task. So what might happen is people might rush that bit at the end. The person who's doing the time the person who's keeping the time can actually see, okay, where are the group now? How much time have we got left? Guys, we need to move on, right? What you're saying right now is irrelevant. We've already worked this out. We need to move on, like quickly. We need to speed up this task to get onto the next task so we can finish. Now, guys, I don't care how much money you make. I don't care how broke you are from graduation. I don't care. I don't care. I don't want to hear it. And go to a very cheap shop and get yourself a watch. A watch can literally cost you about £5. All right. Go on Amazon, buy yourself a watch. If you want me to leave you a link in the description box for a watch, I will. Go and get a box. Go and get a box. Go and get a watch. Get a watch. Okay. It doesn't matter. Just look at the time. If you don't want to be the captain, if you don't want to write, go get yourself a watch. This watch, I think, was like £100. £100. You can get a watch if you don't want to spend top dollar for a watch, or you don't actually like watches because you got a phone, you don't use a watch. Go and get a smartwatch that goes with your phone, right? You've even got a phone, so use your phone, right? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter as long as you can keep the time, as long as you know what the time is and you can keep the time. If you can keep the time, even if they put a clock down, make sure you're the person watching it and you're keeping on top of that task. That is key, okay? Now, all of these points together will help you immensely in group tasks. If you are a more quieter person, if you are a more confident person, more confident talking and directing people, be a captain. If you are a bit more quiet, then be the writer. But if you actually miss the punch to all of those things, then keep the time. Make sure that you assert that role as well. Even if they didn't even ask for it, just drop it in. Okay, guys, we're about to do this task. All right, guys, cool. I'll keep the time. Let's go. We have this many minutes. State it straight away. Move on. Now on to number 5. Number five is simple. It's something for pretty much the whole day. You really want to ask good questions. On assessment days, on group tasks, you need to ask questions. This is so important because this shows that on the job, if you do have a problem, you're not going to feel away. To ask the question of, clarify what you just said, right? If there is something on electronics and you do not know what that is, but someone in the group does, ask that question to that person in the group. It shows that you're direct enough to ask the question. It shows that you're going to be resourceful enough to ask the questions that will get you the answers. Ask questions every single moment of the day. If it's about a particular job, ask questions about the job. Anything that a person says that you think, what's that about? Or what could I ask to expand that more? Write it down and make sure you ask questions. Questions are so important in terms of assessment days and group days. They show the person's mind, how the person's thinking, right? But they also allow you to be visible. The person who's asking questions asking questions to the point of like, oh man, you're always asking questions. That is good. If someone says, man, this guy's always asking questions and such, it means that person is very interested. That person is very turned on this interview. You need to watch that person, or you need to be that person, okay? That is the very last. Ask good questions, good solid questions throughout the day, right? Especially at the end of the day when people are making their decisions. Now, just at the end, it is important for you to understand that assessment days, they do go in 2 stages, and they do have the one assessment day, and they have the assessment day and the interview. Some of them go on to a second day. Now, if you only have an assessment day and an interview and you got the job one day, by all means, go completely ham. You pour your life and heart and soul into it and make sure that you secure the position on the day. If you are in the latter, so if you have an assessment day and the next day and this assessment day just gets you through to another round or another time where you're going to have to come in and invest more time into this company, into this agency, by all means, just do enough to get through. Okay, this can seem a bit controversial, but it's really not. It just means that this assessment day is just the first one is we're looking for a candidate to work right now. So therefore, the interview is going to be a bit more. The interview is going to be very formal. They're going to be looking for a lot more skills. It's going to be a very long, drawn out interview, which is most likely not going to happen. With the second is most likely going to happen. It's most likely you're going in, you're having an assessment day, and you're having an assessment day. Then you're going to have an interview on a later day. You just need to get through that round. These particular tools will help you get through the rounds of assessment day, so you can actually get to the interview and put your best foot forward if you shine more in one-on-one interviews like I do. So make sure, guys, that you utilize all of these and you get through the assessment day. Remember, it is important that you stay visible in all of these days. That's about it. All right, that is it. That is a wrap for this video. There's nothing more to say. Get out of here. Go and do something with the day now. If not, go and watch my videos. Have a nice day. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.